Hello, friends. Welcome to this exciting podcast episode. Today, we're diving into a topic that resonates with everyone: introverts and extroverts. What about you? Do you thrive in social settings, or do you prefer cozy nights with a good book? Be honest. How often have you felt misunderstood just because you're more introverted or extroverted? Drop your answer in the comments. We'd love to hear from you.
Thanks for having me, John. I'm so excited to explore this topic because it's something we all experience, whether at work, with friends, or even within ourselves.
Absolutely, Sophia. Let's start by breaking it down. Introverts and extroverts, they're like two sides of the same coin. One isn't better than the other, but they're different, and that's what makes this conversation so fascinating.
Exactly. So let's define them. Introverts are people who recharge by spending time alone or in calm, low stimulation environments. Extroverts, on the other hand, gain energy from social interactions and thrive in dynamic, high energy settings.
Right. But it's not black and white, is it? There's also a middle ground: ambiverts. They have traits of both introverts and extroverts.
Yes, ambiverts are like the bridge between the two. They enjoy socializing but also value their alone time. I think a lot of people actually fall into this category.
Totally agree. Let's talk about some misconceptions first. Sophia, what's the biggest myth about introverts that you've come across?
Oh, there are so many, but the one that bugs me the most is that introverts are shy or antisocial. That's not true at all. Introverts can be amazing in social settings, but they may need time to recharge afterward.
That's a great point. I've also heard people assume that extroverts are always outgoing and confident. But the truth is, extroverts can feel insecure or nervous in certain situations too.
Exactly, John. It's about energy, not confidence. Introverts may feel drained after a big party, while extroverts might feel energized. But it doesn't mean one is braver or smarter than the other.
Couldn't agree more. Now let's dive into some real life scenarios. For example, how do introverts and extroverts handle social gatherings differently?
Great question. At a party, extroverts might be the life of the event, mingling, chatting, and meeting everyone. Introverts, on the other hand, might prefer to find a quiet corner and have deeper one-on-one conversations.
So true. And when it comes to communication, extroverts often think out loud. They process their thoughts by talking. Introverts, however, tend to think before they speak.
Right. It's like extroverts brainstorm aloud, while introverts do it internally. Neither is wrong. It's just a different approach.
Let's talk about how these traits show up at work. For example, in team meetings, extroverts might dominate the conversation, sharing ideas as they come. Introverts might hold back, but when they do speak, it's often well thought out and insightful.
Absolutely. And when it comes to leadership, both introverts and extroverts can excel. Extroverted leaders might inspire their teams with their energy, while introverted leaders excel at listening and creating meaningful connections.
That's such an important point. I read somewhere that about 40% of leaders are introverts, which challenges the stereotype that only extroverts make good leaders.
Exactly. Speaking of stereotypes, let's talk about friendships. How do introverts and extroverts approach relationships?
Well, extroverts might have a wide circle of friends and love group hangouts. Introverts, on the other hand, often prefer a smaller, close-knit group of friends.
True. And introverts might take longer to open up, but once they do, their friendships are incredibly deep and meaningful.
Totally. Another interesting area is hobbies. Extroverts might enjoy activities like group sports, parties, or traveling with friends. Introverts might lean towards solo activities like reading, writing, or hiking.
Yes, but it's not a hard rule. Introverts can love traveling with friends, and extroverts can enjoy a quiet day reading. It's all about balance.
Exactly, Sophia. Now let's address the big question. Can introverts and extroverts get along?
Absolutely. In fact, they often complement each other. An extrovert might help an introvert step out of their comfort zone, while an introvert can help an extrovert slow down and reflect.
That's such a good point. Some of the best friendships and partnerships are between introverts and extroverts because they balance each other out.
So true. But it's also important to understand and respect each other's needs. For example, an extrovert should give their introverted friend space when they need it, and an introvert should understand when their extroverted friend wants to socialize.
Well said, Sophia. It's all about communication and empathy. Now let's address a fun question. Can your personality change over time?
Great question. While your core tendencies might stay the same, your behavior can adapt depending on your environment and experiences. For example, an introvert might become more outgoing in social settings over time, and an extrovert might learn to enjoy solitude.
Absolutely. It's called being flexible. And it's important to remember that no one is 100% introverted or extroverted. We all have traits of both. It's a spectrum.
So true, John. Now, before we wrap up, let's share some tips for both introverts and extroverts to thrive in their daily lives.
Great idea. For introverts, embrace your need for alone time. It's how you recharge. 2, push yourself to step out of your comfort zone occasionally. 3, focus on quality over quantity when it comes to relationships.
And for extroverts, 1. Remember to take breaks and spend time reflecting. 2. Be mindful of giving others space to share their thoughts. 3. Focus on deepening relationships, not just expanding your circle.
Those are great tips, Sophia. And for everyone, whether you're introverted, extroverted, or somewhere in between, the key is to be true to yourself while understanding and respecting others.
Well said, John. Friends, what do you think? Are you an introvert, extrovert, or ambivert? Share your experiences in the comments. We'd love to hear from you.
And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let's keep the conversation going.
Thanks for joining us, friends. Until next time, embrace who you are and keep celebrating the diversity of personalities around you.